Floyd was built to be the villain.
Legend versus legend. So, I mean, that speaks for itself.
It's like having a loyal girlfriend and ditching her for a hot one-night stand who ghosts you. You're left with nothing, and you go home with a hairy palm.
In boxing, the action inside the ring is just one part of the story. The real drama continues outside, where fighters clash through words, pride, and the fight to protect their legacy.
Terence Crawford didn't have the wide-eye look. In fact, when he stepped from behind the tunnel and came out, he seemed to come alive when he saw the crowd. He looked up and he saw those people, and even though it was a pro-Canelo crowd, it looked like it woke him up. And then when I saw Canelo, what I noticed about him was that brother looked a lot different tonight than he did yesterday in his face. He was full-faced. His body looked like he put the weight on. During that first round, I mean, the first 2-3 seconds, they touched gloves and Crawford flicked 2 jabs at Canelo and kind of stood his ground. And I said, okay, we're going to have a real fight tonight.
That's how Floyd is. He's very.
Do you think he's the great? You think he's the greatest? One of the greatest
Every
ever?
great fighter in the world says technically there's nobody better.
Yeah.
Every single,
easily the best counterpuncher. Of all
No,
time.
every great
Best
fighter in the world says there's nobody better. But when you're talking about wins,
right?
Not the best heavyweight champ is Mike Tyson.
Right.
I think, right? Like the scariest guy, because his force is just so.
It's insane.
Yeah,
but Logan having almost beat Floyd, that's got to put him in the top 3, top 3 greatest.
Recently, Oscar de la Hoya made a bold statement that shook the entire boxing world and sparked intense reactions across the community.
Floyd was built to be the villain. Floyd was built with his opponents that we put in front of him, from Miguel Cotto to everybody. He was the villain, and in a movie, you need the hero and a villain, and Floyd was the perfect villain. People love to hate him, and guess what? He made a whole career about it, and he's one of the greatest.
Do you think people tune in to watch greatness or tune in to watch him lose?
A lot of people tuned in to watch him lose, but a lot of people also tuned in to watch greatness.
I know the purist like yourself, people that's been around the boxing game, the fight game for an extended period of time, they understand who he is.
Sure.
But do you think the casual, the layperson realize how great he is?
I don't think so. I
don't think so. His words didn't just reopen an old rivalry. They pulled 2 of today's biggest boxing stars into a heated debate. The controversy began when Terence "Bud" Crawford made history by defeating Canelo Alvarez and becoming the first male fighter ever to hold undisputed titles in 3 different weight divisions.
It's wild, because if you look at Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford's. And Floyd was faster and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left lightweight. He wiped out the junior lights, bring him. Lightweight, he jumps up to Jose Luis Castillo first thing. A lot of people think he lost the first fight, I didn't, but then he won the rematch. But once he left lightweight, he was careful about when he fought guys. So even though his resume is deeper with names, people remember, but he didn't want it with certain dudes at certain times. Crawford, we all witnessed, even though the resume is thin in certain ways, he wanted it with everyone the whole time.
Oh, yes.
That makes a difference to...
It was the kind of win that defined Crawford's career and secured his place among boxing's all-time greats. But right after the fight, it was Canelo, the defeated champion, who stole the spotlight with one explosive comment. That single line reignited a long-standing debate, dividing fans and experts across the boxing world. And that's when Oscar de la Hoya entered the picture.
For the Mayweather, prime for prime.
Crawford.
Really? Why?
Because Crawford is a unique kind of fighter that other fighters haven't seen. And the ability that he has to switch, fighters aren't used to that. They don't train for that. I just think Crawford is a very, very unique talent.
Having once faced Mayweather himself, de la Hoya's words carried real weight, and he wasted no time tearing down Canelo's claim. In a fast-spreading interview, He firmly rejected the notion that Crawford could ever be on the same level as Floyd "Money" Mayweather.
I have to disagree because Floyd Mayweather toyed with Canelo. Like, he literally toyed with him. He didn't get hit at all. Not one time. And Crawford, yeah, he's more of a fighter, boxer. Mayweather's more of a boxer. But I have to disagree. I think Mayweather is much more superior than Crawford. Not just because he beat me and it was a close fight, whatever, or that I stepped in the ring with Mayweather, but I really feel that technically Mayweather's a better.
Okay, well, we're gonna know in the least amount of fights. I didn't have to have 70 fights or 150 fights, 300 fights. Did I not beat the most world champions?
Yes, you did.
Okay. And in the least amount of fights?
Yes, you did.
Who got the highest gate?
Floyd Mayweather.
Who made the most money?
You did.
Who was the most accurate fighter of all time?
You were.
So it's basically saying that
the greatest of all time.
Okay.
All right.
De La Hoya's praise for Mayweather comes with layers of history. To understand it, we have to go back to 2007, when De La Hoya faced Mayweather in a blockbuster fight that broke pay-per-view records. The seasoned Golden Boy pushed Mayweather to the limit but lost in a close and controversial split decision. So when De La Hoya now calls Mayweather unbeatable, it sparks curiosity. Does he truly mean it? Or is he protecting his own legacy? By placing Mayweather on a pedestal, De La Hoya also highlights how close he came to defeating him, subtly reminding the world of his own greatness, while undermining the man who later took his place as boxing's biggest star, Canelo Alvarez. This wasn't just an analysis. It was the first strike in a much deeper rivalry, one that targeted Canelo's legacy itself.
Turns out, I'm not the only one who thinks Canelo is an arrogant piece of shit. Turki Al-Sheikh recently revealed that Canelo refused to meet with him in person and isn't entertaining any deals to be done with him. Why? Because he's outpriced himself so much that the Saudis don't even want to deal with him. And it's all because he will do anything not to fight David Benavidez. Look, Turkey is trying to make the best fights that everybody wants to see. And Canelo continues to take the fights that nobody wants to see. Canelo, you're really making the wrong enemies. But you know what?
And then secondly, there's been some social media speculation, we'll say, about when this fight is going to take place. So when will it be?
Who's asking about the time and the place? Can you be specific?
Yeah, we saw Oscar De La Hoya trying to say that the fight was going to take place maybe in the daytime.
Yeah, this is what I want from you, to say his name. I decide with Dana White to have a breakfast in MGM at 10 a.m. inshallah. Then we will go to the arena to have the fights quick. And after that, we will go dinner to Carbon, and in the night we will watch Conjuring because it will launch in September. Oscar De La Hoya wastes my time with this question. Of course, this is in the BEAT. This is the boxing, the sport #1 in the world. This is Canelo and Crawford.
The tension between De La Hoya and his former star fighter is no secret, and he seized this moment to finally release years of built-up resentment.
Bernie! Yeah, baby! To tell you I told you so. I tell you! I predicted the Canelo-Crawford fight like a goddamn fortune teller.
You're the Oracle?
Canelo's feet were cemented on the canvas as he was hitting air. What the fuck was that? Props to Crawford.
Thank you.
He came up 3 weight classes and fought a beautiful fight.
Good job.
What a great performance.
Did you get what you was looking for?
Like taking candy from a baby.
My candy!
Look, I promoted Canelo's entire career.
Put some fucking respect on it.
And it was a huge flop.
How do you like them apples?
The only real fighters he's faced were Mayweather, Bivol, and Crawford. And they all toyed with him. Even Mayweather knew Crawford was going to school him.
Thank you.
He put $50,000 on Crawford to
grasp the bitterness, you have to look at their split. De La Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions helped turn a young Canelo into a worldwide sensation, and together they dominated the sport for years. But the partnership eventually collapsed in a storm of disputes and lawsuits, with Canelo accusing De La Hoya of mismanaging his career and fighting to break free.
Imbécil intento de gente que tengo aquí a mi izquierda, que no se le olvide que yo ya vine siendo el Canelo a Estados Unidos y que solamente lucró con mi nombre, nunca perdí un solo centavo, sino nomás ganó dinero. ¿Ya le pagaste a Golovkin lo que le quería robar? Sí, muy bien, porque sí, también, pero si no hubiera metido a mis abogados me lo robas. Es lo único que hace este hombre es ser una lacra del boxeo, robarle a los boxeadores. Para el que esté con él, meta por favor ahí a sus abogados porque seguramente les está robando. Es lo único que viene a hacer al boxeo.
You know who your daddy is.
Y a lo único que viene es a robarle la atención a Jaime Munguía. No viene a promoverlo. También le roba la atención a la gente que hace las cosas para la cocina. Ya no saben si hacerlas como consoladores o como cazuelas o algo. Porque acá se las mete el muchacho.
Yeah, I find it quite weird, really. Like, you know, on one hand, Oscar's sort of, his whole mantra right now is how happy he is, and, you know, look at me, guys. And there's obviously this thing with Canelo that just eats him up so much. I mean, the stuff with me eats him up, but this is on another level. And it's like this Clapback Thursday thing, which I think is actually quite amusing. Like, you've got that platform there. Why would you use it to just continuously talk about or try and discredit Canelo Alvarez, who's a fighter that left you 4 years ago? It's over. You know, on one hand, you're this happy-go-lucky guy, and then on the other hand, you've got like this toxicity eating away inside you that's making your blood boil. Just let it go. Like, talk about his fighters, you know, Zurdo Ramirez, Zepeda, Munguia. I know Munguia's left him, but like the other guys he looks after as well. So like, I don't know.
De La Hoya, on the other hand, saw Canelo's departure as a deep betrayal after years of personal and professional investment. So when he calls Canelo's career overrated, it's not just idle trash talk. It's the voice of a man trying to dismantle the very empire.
I don't expect anything less than that with that kind of person. He's an because he's mad because I leave Golden Boy. I'm the golden. I'm the diamond in Golden Boy. Golden Boy is not the same without me. That's why he's angry. I have the proofs. I have proofs. I put my liars in, and he tried to steal money. I have proofs. I don't want to do anything against that kind of guys. I don't want that vibes. I don't really give a shit about Oscar. But if he says something here in my territory, I need to say something, right?
Canelo, I just saw another video where you're still talking shit. All you say is fuck him, fuck that. Oh, he stole from me. Well, obviously, aside from defaming me, why don't you look inside your own circle? Because I know for a fact that people are stealing from you. By the way, you lined my pockets. You made Munguia a shitload of money, all because you're afraid of David Benavidez. Fuck you.
This shared history is what keeps the feud alive, turning a normal boxing debate into a personal vendetta. De La Hoya took to social media with a blistering post, saying, "I promoted Canelo's entire career, and it was a huge fluff." He went even further, adding, "The only real fighters he's faced were Mayweather, Bivol, and Crawford, and they all toyed with him." It was his ultimate "I told you so" moment, a public jab at Canelo's downfall that felt more like revenge than analysis.
Terence replied to your tweet. He said he disagreed with what you said, but then you also responded to him.
Respectfully, I've been a fighter, and I've gone in my own way when it comes to negotiating a fight, because I have an ego, especially when I'm a fighter. So when I'm a fighter and I'm sitting down on a table with my potential opponent in front of me and with the people that I delegate that are smart, that are business people, it just does not work because there's too many egos in the table. When I started doing that and becoming a businessman before I was a fighter, guess what? My focus was on business instead of the fight, and I started losing. Your window is so short. There's a window of opportunity. Take advantage of it as a fighter.
De La Hoya explained that when fighters try to handle business themselves, sitting across the table from opponents and business executives, their focus shifts away from the fight. He admitted that when he started thinking like a businessman instead of a boxer, his performance suffered. A fighter's window is short, he warned. You have to make the most of it while you can. But just as the drama seemed limited to boxing, De La Hoya expanded his attack, this time taking aim at UFC President Dana White, accusing him of caring more about profits than the fighter's health and well-being.
The whole, we were actually, I was part of the whole, we're talking top bracket, you know, the whole movement, you know, with the Muhammad Ali Act and all that. And it's in place for a reason. I'm telling you right now, if they change the Muhammad Ali Act, every fighter out there, every manager is going to have problems. Is going to be in trouble because you're not going to be able to negotiate. You're not going to be able to negotiate purses or this and that. You fight for what they pay you. That's not a way. That's not a way to do it. That's not a way to do it. You have to. It's a free negotiation. It's you know, you have managers for a reason. You have the fighters who should be making the bulks of the money. We put our lives on the line. We go up in the ring. Fighters die. For what? To get 10%? That's bullshit.
He brought up White's controversial stance on the Muhammad.
De La Hoya also called out Dana White's controversial position on the Muhammad Ali Act, a law created to protect fighters, accusing him of wanting to change it so TKO, the UFC's parent company, could exploit athletes. He even claimed White arrived late to the Crawford-Canelo fight and spent the undercard watching a UFC event on his phone.
As far as the undercard, Jesus Christmas. I feel bad for Turkey, wasting all that money. You have to fire your matchmakers, Turkey.
You're fired.
It was the biggest fight of the decade, and your matchmakers, not you, your matchmakers.
What are those guys?
Put on that undercard? You paid all that money and had the biggest stage in boxing on Netflix, and that is really the best they could do?
Didn't even try.
If I was matchmaking, I would have put Shiraz versus Benavidez as a co-main event, with the winner fighting the winner of Canelo Crawford next.
Thank you.
That's how you promote. That's how you matchmake. Dana White didn't have his best week. His t-shirt shrank smaller every minute, especially when he was questioned about his attempt to amend the Muhammad Ali Act. So you're saying this reporter is an asshole because he's asking you a legitimate question? That's because the Muhammad Ali Act protects fighters, and TKO needs it to change so they can fuck fighters over. Sorry, Uncle Fester. You can't muzzle the boxing media like you do in the UFC.
That's alright.
And after this debacle, he decided to skip the undercard and shows up in the beginning of the main event, where he's just watching the UFC on his phone the entire time. I wonder if he regrets abandoning the UFC for a sport that doesn't want him.
The outburst hit its peak with a shocking finale, as De La Hoya ended his rant by bluntly declaring, "Dana, Canelo, F you."
I'm not interested in to be a friend with him. I'm good where I am, and I have nothing to with him, and I wish all the best for him, and that's it. I don't want him in my life. I don't want him near from me, close to me. I don't want that kind of vibes on my life.
As De La Hoya's remarks spread online, the backlash quickly followed, and that's when the true magnitude of Crawford's achievement came into view. Moving up from 147 to 168 pounds, Crawford took on a much larger and stronger opponent in Canelo, a challenge few fighters would ever attempt. It was a bold, history-making move that De La Hoya's criticism conveniently overlooked.